Chapter 20. The Land of Magic Medicines. For a few days the children had no time to even think of going to their friends in the faraway tree. Their mother was ill in bed, and the doctor came each day. "Just let her lie in bed and keep her warm," he said to the children and their father. "Give her what she likes to eat, and don't let her worry about anything." The children and father were upset, but father had to go back to work as usual. They all loved mother, and it was very strange to see her lying in bed. "There's all that washing that I have to do for Mrs. Jones," she said. "No, children, you aren't to try and do it all. It's too much for you." Moonface and Silky came down to visit the children one morning, and were very sorry to hear that their mother was ill. "She worries about the washing," said Beth. "She won't let us do it. I don't know what to do about it." "Oh, we can manage that for you," said Silky at once. "Old Dame Washalot will do it for nothing. It's a joy for her, and it's the joy of her life to wash and wash and wash. I believe if she's got nothing dirty to wash, she just washes clean things. She even washes the leaves on the faraway tree if she's got nothing else to wash. Is that the basket over there? Moonface and I will take it up to the tree now and bring it back to you when it's finished." "Oh, thank you, Silky dear," said Beth gratefully. "Mother will be so pleased when I tell her she'll stop worrying about that." Silky and Moonface went off with the basket. They took it to Dame Washalot, and how her face shone with joy when she saw how much washing there was to do. "My, this is good of you," she said, taking out the dirty things and throwing them into an enormous washing tub of soapy water. "Now, this is what I really enjoy. I'll have them all washed and ironed by tonight." Silky was pleased. She knew how beautifully Dame Washalot washed and ironed. She went up to Moonface's house to have dinner with him. "I do wish we could help make the children's mother better," she said. "She is such a lovely lady, isn't she? And the children love her so much. Moonface, can't you possibly think of anything?" "Well, I don't think a toffee shock would be any good, do you?" said Moonface. "I've got some of those." "Of course not," said Silky. "It's medicine we want, pills or something. But as nobody is ill in the faraway tree, there's nowhere to buy them from." That night they went to see if Dame Washalot had finished the washing. She had. It was washed and beautifully ironed and folded up in the basket, ready to be taken away. "I've had a lovely time," said Dame Washalot, beaming at Silky. "My, the water I've poured down the tree today. Yes, I heard the angry pixie shouting I've heard the angry pixie shouting like anything because he got soaked at least 4 times, said Moonface with a grin. "He's got plums growing on the tree just outside his house, and he was picking them, and each time he went out to pick them, he got soaked with your water. You be careful he doesn't come up and shout at you. If he does, I'll put him in the next wash tub of dirty water and empty him down the tree with it," said Dame Washalot. Washalot? Yes, Dame Washalot. God, I've read nearly 2 books, and anyway. "If he does, I'll put him into the next wash tub of dirty water and empty him down the tree with it," said Dame Washalot. "Oh, I wish I could see you do that," said Silky, tying a rope to the basket of washing so that she could let it down the tree to the bottom. "Well, Dame Washalot, thank you very much. The person who usually does the washing is ill in bed and can't seem to get better. It's such a pity. I wish I could make her better. I wish I could make her well." "Why, Silky, the land of magic medicines is coming tomorrow," said old Dame Washalot. "You could get any medicine that you like there, and your friend would soon get better. Why don't you visit the land and get some?" "That's a really good idea," said Silky happily. Letting down the basket bit by bit, Moonface had gone to the bottom of the tree to catch it. "I'll tell Moonface, and maybe he and I could go and get some medicine." She slipped down the tree and told Moonface what the old Dame Washalot had said. Moonface put the basket of washing on his shoulders, and he beamed at Silky. "That's a great idea. It'll be good news for the children," he said. "Come on, we'll hurry and we'll tell them." The children were delighted to have the washing back so quickly, all washed and ironed. Rick set off with it to Mrs. Jones. Beth ran to tell her mother that she needn't worry about it any more because it's been done. Silky told Joe and Franny about the land of magic medicines coming the next day to the top of the faraway tree. They listened in surprise. "Well, I vote we go there," said Joe at once. "I'd make up my mind none of us would go while Mother was ill, but if there's a chance of getting something to make her better, we'll certainly go. We'll certainly go. One of us must stay behind with Mother, and the rest of us will go." So it was arranged that Joe, Rick, and Beth should meet at Moonface's house early the next morning. Then they would go up to the strange land and see what they could find for their mother. Franny was quite willing to stay with her mother, though she felt a little bit left out. She said goodbye to Joe, Rick, and Beth soon after breakfast the next day, and promised to wash up the breakfast things carefully and to sit with their mother until the rest of them came back. They set off and arrived outside Moonface's house at the top of the faraway tree that afternoon. Moonface and Silky were waiting for them. "Is old Saucepan Man coming?" asked Joe. Hi, Saucepan. Do you want to come?" shouted Moonface, leaning down the tree. Saucepan was with Mr. What's-his-name. Amazingly, he heard what Moonface had said and shouted back, "Yes, I'm coming. But where to?" "Up the ladder," yelled Moonface. "Hurry." So Saucepan came, and in a little while they all stood in the land of magic medicines. It was just as peculiar as every other land that came to the top of the faraway tree. It didn't seem to be a land at all. When the children had climbed up the ladder to the top, they found themselves in what looked like a great big factory. A place where all kinds of pills, medicines, bandages, and so were all made. Goblins and gnomes, pixies and fairies were all busy as they could be, stirring great pots over curious green flames, pouring medicines into shining bottles, and counting out pills and putting them into coloured boxes. In one corner a goblin was stirring a purple mixture in a yellow bowl. Beth looked at it. "It's a kind of ointment," she said to the others. "I wonder what it's for." "It's to make bad legs strong again," said the goblin, stirring hard. "Do you want some?" "Well, I don't know anyone with bad legs," said Beth. "Thank you all the same. If I did, I'd love to have some, because it would be marvellous to make somebody's bad leg better." A pixie nearby was pouring some sparkling green medicine into bottles shaped like bubbles. The children and the others watched. It made a funny singing noise as it went in. "What's it for?" asked Joe. "Whoever takes this will always have shining eyes," said the pixie. "Shining smile, eyes are the loveliest." Hang on. "Whoever takes this will always have shining eyes," said the pixie. "Shining, smiling eyes are the loveliest eyes in the world, and this medicine will help you have them for real." "Well, no, not exactly," said Joe. I'd like to have some, though." "Oh, your eyes are smiley eyes," said the pixie, looking at them. "This is for sad people whose eyes have become dull. Come to me when you are an old man and your eyes cannot see very well. I will give you plenty then." "Oh," said Joe. "Well, I won't be here then. I've only just come for a short visit." Rick called to the others. "Look," he cried, "here's some really marvellous pills. Watch them being made." Everybody watched. It was most astonishing to see. First of all, the pills were enormous, as large as footballs. A goblin blew on them with a pair of bellows, out of which came green smoke, and they at once went down to the size of a cricket ball. He then splattered them with what looked like moonlight from a watering can. Then they went small as marbles. Then he blew on them gently, and they went as small as a green pea. And each one jumped into the pill box with a ping, 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 till the box was full. "What are they for?" asked Rick. "To make short people tall," said the goblin. "Some people hate being short. Well, these pills will make them big. The shadow of these pills will make them big things. The shadow of a mountain, the height of a tree, the crash of thunderstorms. Things like that, and they have the power to make anything or anyone grow." "Could I have some?" asked Rick eagerly. "Take a boxful," said the goblin. Rick took it. He read what it said on the lid. "Growing pills, 1 to be taken 3 times a day." Now, Rick was not very tall for his age, and he had always wanted to be big. He looked longingly at the pills. If he took 3 at once, maybe he would grow taller. That would be great. So he popped 3 of the pills into his mouth. He sucked them. They tasted so horrible that he swallowed them in a hurry. And goodness, what a surprise when the others turned to speak to Rick. He was taller than their father. He was as tall as the ceiling in their cottage. He towered above them, looking down on them in alarm, for he had expected to grow. He towered above them, looking down on them in alarm, for he hadn't expected to grow so quite. Ah! Oh, right, sorry. And goodness, what a surprise when the others turned to speak to Rick. He was taller than their father. He was as tall as the ceiling in the cottage. He towered above them, looking down at them in alarm, for he hadn't expected to grow quite so much, or quite so quickly. "Rick, you've been taking those growing pills," cried Joe. "Just the sort of stupid thing that you would do. You're enormous. How in the world do you think you're ever going to get down the hole in the cloud? Oh, do something to help me, begged Rick, who really was frightened to see how enormous he had become. Everyone else looked so small. Joe, Moonface, what can I do? I'm still growing. I'll burst out of the roof in a minute. The goblins and the pixies around suddenly noticed how fast Rick was growing. They began to shout and squeal. He'll break through the roof. He'll break down the top, and he'll break down the roof. He will bring it down on top of us. Quick, stop him from growing.